Verse 15, and behold, I'm with thee, I will keep thee in all the places where you go, and I will bring thee again to this land, and I will not leave thee until I have done that which I have spoken of thee. Okay, verse 16, and Jacob awoke out of the place and said, surely the Lord is in this place, and I didn't even know it. Yes, there was an altar there. The altar is still speaking. Anyway, laid by Abraham. Verse 17, he was afraid and said, how dreadful is this place? This is none other but the house of God, and this is the gate of heaven. Then verse 18, and Jacob rose up early in the morning, took the stones that he put for pillow, set it up for a pillar, poured oil on it. He dedicated the land. And verse 19, and Jacob called the name of the place Bethel. Remember the word Bethel. But the name of the city was Luz at that time. Verse 20, and Jacob vowed a vow. This is the part I'm getting to. Say, if God will be with me, if you will keep me in this way that I go. First is, I want you to be with me, Lord. Number two, I want you to protect me. I'm making a journey. Remember that they don't have flights in those days. You have to go through countries, towns, and you can be kidnapped, you can be killed, you can be waylaid. A lot of things can happen. You can be turned to a slave, captured. If you protect me in this journey, and give me bread to eat and clothes to put on, and bless me with finance. 3 things. Your presence be with me, you give me protection, and you bless me with resources. Then verse 21, so that I come again to my father's house in peace, then the Lord will be my God. Number one. Number two, verse 22, this stone which I have set for a pillar shall be God's house. Number three, of all that you give me, I will surely give you the tenth. Now, question. I want to talk about the last one, and God's house and the last one. God's house and the tithe. 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 How did he know about the tithing? How did he know? There was no law of Moses then. Moses has not been born. There's no Levitical priesthood, Old Testament, to teach tithe. There was no Old Testament ordinance at that time. That covenant was made at Mount Sinai, what you call the Old Covenant. He was living in the dispensation of promise, the time of Abraham. How did he know? Because Abraham practiced it and his father practiced it. I told you that that's how they passed this thing. When Abraham came back from the battle with the kings of nations, the kings that invaded Sodom and Gomorrah and took Lot captive, and he defeated them. As he was returning back from the battle, Melchizedek, who was king of Salem, I wish I can read it for you, is recorded in Genesis 14 and in Hebrews 7. Melchizedek, that was king of Salem, if you want to know what that means, he was the man ruling Jerusalem. You know, before Jesus comes to rule from Jerusalem, there has been a priest that has ruled that city before Abraham, before the Jewish people. But he's not just king, he was priest of the Most High. He met Abraham coming back from the battle. There was no preaching. Abraham took 10th of all the spoil and gave him. Where did Abraham learn it? Where did Abraham learn it? Prof knows that what happened in Genesis 12 starts the story of Abraham from age 75. No. The Jewish record starts the story of Abraham from birth. I have the books. At the age of 14, because they were trying to kill the boy, Nimrod was the king of the country. Abraham was from the land of the Chaldees. The king of the country when he was born was Nimrod, the one that built the Tower of Babel. And the Jewish nation was raised to turn the whole world back to the living God, because Nimrod and all the other people after the flood has turned the world to idolatry and occultism. So at the age of 14, they took Abraham, the mother, and ran to prevent him from being killed, because at 14 he has found the revelation of Jehovah. God has revealed himself to him, and he's now preaching what is called monotheism. Monotheism is worship of only one God, the creator, in a country where people worship different gods. So that got him into trouble. He's still a teenager. So they took him and ran to the house of Noah. There's something you need to know about that time. Noah lived to be 950 years, almost 1,000 years, just 50 years less than 1,000. When you live that long, you see your grandchildren to the 7th generation. Adam saw his. They say it was Enoch and some others that buried Adam. It's on the record. I have the books. Adam lived for 930 years. Methuselah 969 years. Noah was 950, the second longest living person after Methuselah. So they took Abraham to the house of Noah. Now, Noah was the one that mentored Abraham in priesthood, and his son called Shem. There's something I'm going to say now. It might cause a little, especially among theologians, some whatever, but the Jews know this. If you know any Jewish, we have Jewish rabbis in many cities, in Abuja, in Lagos. They know this. It's in their record. I've read the book. There's something I'm going to say now. You don't have to accept it, please. If you can handle it, like when Jesus wants to say something, he said, those who can handle it, let them handle it. Those who can't, leave it. Don't let it confuse you. That Noah's son, first son called Shem, is the man that is called Melchizedek in the Bible. The church is still mystified by Melchizedek. See, the point I'm trying to make, let's even avoid whether this particular one, you don't have to accept it. Because there are some things Paul wrote about Melchizedek that can make you question that. You probably think he's somebody that fell from the sky, that when he finished, he just vanished. No, he wasn't. He was a human being. Just like Jesus didn't fall from the sky. He didn't fall from the sky. He had father and mother. It's Shem that is called Melchizedek in the Bible. Anyway, they raised Abraham. So you see now, when it comes to tithe, don't think it is that day that he's meeting Abraham. That's the pastor that raised him. And they taught him tithing. I'm trying to know, where did Abraham learn it? He was taught in the house of Noah. Where did Noah learn it? You see, this thing started from Adam. And then where did Adam learn it? How come when Adam's two boys wanted to offer sacrifice, one gave God first fruit? He said Abel gave them. Who taught Abel first fruit? So by the time you trace it to Adam, where did Adam learn it? Bible says at the cool of the day, every day, God will come. At that time, church was just 2 members plus the pastor, and God was doing the pastoral. The Jewish record said Adam lived in the Garden of Eden for 7 years. It was in the 2nd week of his life. After 7 years, that Satan now got them out. 7 years. So what was life like before the fall? You know, when you read it in Genesis, you assume God finished creating them today. Tomorrow morning they fell. Here is the message. There is a priesthood that has been on earth long before Levi, under Moses, under whatever, the Levitical priesthood with animals came on the earth. That ancient priesthood is the Melchizedek order of priesthood. That priesthood is what we are functioning under in the New Testament. You are a priest after the order of Melchizedek. Our high priest is Jesus. His order is not Levitical. We are not operating the law of Moses and all the rituals in it. Jesus is a priest after the order of Melchizedek. And it was Melchizedek that started collecting tithes. And you want to come to the New Testament and say you are removing it. Which order are you in? Which order are you in? Let me give you an example. This order of Melchizedek, one of the things he did to Abraham, he brought bread and wine and serving communion. Can you see Jesus is not the one that invented communion? He's following the order of the priesthood where he belonged. Let me give you, yes. Let me give you another thing about this order. There are many things I can show you about it. This order, how do people get salvation? In the Aaronic order, the Levitical order is by obeying the law that Moses gave and order. In this order, there was a man that operated there. He paid tithe. His name is Abraham. The Bible says Abraham was justified by faith. Abraham believed God. His faith was counted to him for what? Righteous. So you think justification by faith started with New Testament? No. That is how Abraham had it. So today, our faith is not built on law or rituals and all that. We are saved by faith in the finished work of Christ. Jesus did not invent communion. Jesus is just reading the Bible and interpreting it. So now, when it came to tithe, that order received tithe. Actually, it was that order that taught the Levitical order tithe. Because Abraham paid tithe to Melchizedek, and Levite that will start the Levitical order was 4 generations inside Abraham's loin. So Paul was writing in Hebrews chapter 7 that even Levi, that is going to be the high priest of the Old Testament, paid tithe inside Abraham. In other words, the law, the grace, dispensation of grace is superior to dispensation of law. Because he said there that without contradiction, the less is blessed of what? The greater. Please show Matthew 23 verse 23. Because when the question of tithe was brought to Jesus, look at what he said. He said, "Woe unto you, scribes, Pharisees, hypocrites, for you pay tithe of mint, anise, and cumin, and have omitted the weightier matters of the law." What is he saying? That righteousness, moral values is more important than giving God money. It's more important than money. Let's not preach money and leave out the values that drive the kingdom. Values of justice and mercy and faith. The faith here is faithfulness, integrity, loyalty. Then he said, "These you ought to have done, and not to leave the order undone." Please, give me another translation. Let them see what Jesus said. You should tithe, yes, but do not neglect the more important things. Did Jesus invalidate tithe? No, look at it here. He can't, because the order he belongs to, that's what happens there. If he invalidates it, then we can as well invalidate all the other ordinances that were set up there. What he's teaching, do your tithing, but don't neglect the moral values. Just because you're giving God money, you're sleeping with somebody's wife, you're giving God money, you oppress people, you are not just, you're giving God money, you think that is enough. No. I also want to let us know something about Jesus and his teachings. When he did one of the greatest teachings that he did, it's called Sermon on the Mount, Matthew chapter 5, 6, and 7. You will notice that Jesus always takes things to a higher level. He never reduces. New Testament standard is higher. Because Old Testament says you shall not commit adultery. Jesus said yes. But we're even taking it a step higher. Don't lust after a woman. He was talking about somebody's wife in your heart. Old Testament says you shall not commit murder. Jesus said yes. We shouldn't even mention a Christian killing somebody. But he's now saying, Don't even kill people with your words, and don't hate people in your heart. He said, if you're angry with your brother without a cause, you're in danger of judgment. If you say words, you can kill with words. Say to your brother, you a useless fellow, you a fool. He said, then you are in danger of the lake of fire. Do you see what he's doing? So one day I asked him, where did you get all of this? Because I know most of his teachings, he got it from the Old Testament. He's only given it life in the New Testament. It's like when he taught, love your neighbor as yourself. All those teachings. You go to Deuteronomy, you see them. I said, so where did you get, Lord, explain to me, these other dimensions you are now? He said, because the 10th commandment is about do's and don'ts. But that applies to only 9 out of the 10 commandments. You shall not kill. You shall not make graven image. You shall not commit adultery. You shall not take what does not belong to you, steal. You shall not use the name of the Lord in vain. But when it got to the last command, God left do's and don'ts and started legislating thoughts, the heart. So the Lord said to me, it is that last commandment that controls the other 9. You know what he did on the last commandment? You shall not covet. He left action. All the other ones, you have to do something before you are guilty. At the last one, he left things you do to what you are not going on in your heart. You shall not covet your neighbor's wife. He has already told us, don't commit adultery. But now he's saying, in the heart, if you are lusting after somebody's, you shall not covet your neighbor's property. You have already told us, don't steal. You shall not covet. Finally, ended up by saying, you shall not covet anything that belongs to your neighbor. So that sin begins at heart. And that's what Jesus did when he was teaching. He now went to the root of sin, where the thing is born, and now started stepping it up, making us know. Because you will never get to killing if you don't start with hatred. If you don't start with destroying a character assassination. You won't graduate to when you will do that action. In law, there are lawyers here. Somebody is driving a car and he hits somebody and the person dies. When they get to court, what the court wants to know is whether there was an intention to kill this person. If there was a plan, you are going to go down for murder. But if after the argument, your lawyer will be arguing it's a mistake, and they find that there was no intention, this thing was just an accident, they bring the case down and charge you for manslaughter. Now, you have an option. You can settle with the family, pay something, damages, give them whatever, and they will let you go. Or they give you penalty that is less because this was not planned. You are on top of a building, roofing a building, and your hammer falls, and somebody down there dies. The court will not accept that it's a mistake. They want to check. Have they been quarreling before? Because he might use the opportunity. He has been planning to kill this one. He used to take that thing and drop it, pretend that it's a mistake. Is there any beef that have been going on with them? Is there any whatever? When they finish, they check everything. They say, no, if there was no thought, no premeditated, it's not a premeditated murder. Then that's when they can give him in. Because he can plan that thing. See the man on the road, just drive and go and hit him and make it look like accident. Did you see how David planned somebody's murder? Told Joab, just arrange, put him in the battlefront, and when the enemy is coming, withdraw the other soldiers. So it was a perfect arrange. Everybody in Israel, nobody thought it's normal. People die in battle. Yeah, it's the enemy that killed him. God was not fooled. Now, this guy grew to be extremely rich, Jacob, just on a consecration of 10% of his resources to God. Now, he also promised that he will build a house for God in that spot. So I want to show you there are two kinds of tithing. The first tithe, you take it to God's house. It's for running God's house. Let this confusion in Nigeria end. That tithe that is for running God's house is also for the support of priests and those who do the work of ministry. Malachi chapter 3 verse 8. Will a man rob God? Yet you have robbed me. But you say, wherein have we robbed God? In tithes and offering. You don't go to the Bible and take one and leave the other. If you want to destroy both. Don't just destroy tithe and leave offering. If you want to take it out, take out both. No more any form of giving in the church. You can't choose. You don't go to scripture, pick anyone you like. You don't do that. If you're going to erase both of them. God said, you stealing from me, from the tithe, you're also stealing from the offering. Verse 9. Yet you are cursed with a curse, for you have robbed me, even this one. That means there is a consequence for people who do this. Anyway, verse 10. Bring ye all the tithe into the storehouse. I want you to take note. These tithes is taken to the storehouse, the church where you feed from. Let me give you an example. Somebody is watching this program, but you belong to a local church, you have a good church, you have a pastor, and you are fed and taught the word of God that helps you. But you also benefit from Dominion City. You can send us offering, support, vows. You can't send your tithe here. Your tithe goes to your store, your church where you are fed. You cannot be a Cameroonian, do business in Cameroon and be paying tithe to Nigeria. You're a criminal. You cannot invest money in Zenith and go to Zenith Bank and go to Sheni Bank to withdraw it. It is where you are being raised and nurtured. It's like honor. Honor you are. If you leave your own father and come and honor my father, you are still violating the rule. You will still die young. There are 7 types of fathers. That's why I'm going to say something. It will shock everybody now, nationally. When I want to honor elders, I come to the east and honor our elders first. Honor you are. You don't come because Benny Hinn came to town. You carry what you have not given the church that has been helping you. You go there and give him. You can give a Benny Hinn offering, but never give to another person what you have not given to your own spiritual parents. If he shakes the system, let it shake it so that this confusion can stop. These are types of temptations that come on. We won't be here if we are busy robbing. Go read the biblical ethics. When you see your neighbor's sheep fall into a ditch, he said, bring it out, clean it. But finally, find where that sheep comes and return it to your brother. You don't steal. You don't steal sheep. You don't steal shepherds. Raise people in your ministry. But of course, that law does not apply when you find all these false houses, false prophets, false people that are wolves in sheep clothes. You have to rescue God's sheep. And if you have a ministry, you're not feeding your people, the sheep have right to go and look for green pastures. And the man that feeds them, that raises them, they owe him their tithes.